Reporting live from the crib. Welcome back to Born Ballin'. Now, I already dropped a video for the beginners, a little quick video on some tips for fantasy football. This one's going to be for the more advanced players. So let's hop right into it. First tip, make your own tiers. You don't want to have too many people in a tier. I would honestly say keep it to 4 at the max, but you want to separate players on how good you think they are. So you want to have tier 1. Hey, let's go with Bijan, Saquon, and I think those two honestly would be the top 2 in the tier. If you wanted to put Derrick Henry in that tier, I feel like he's going to go crazy this year again. Then you could, but you should stack it up like that. Same for wide receivers, same for tight ends. Quarterbacks are simple. Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. That's tier 1, no doubt about it. All right, number 2 is knowing your draft position early. Not only does this get you a head up on the game and allow you to do some mock drafts, if you actually look at some of the shorts I've been dropping, I'm doing mock drafts there so to give you an idea of what's going on. But it just gives you a good sense of where players are going, at what time, when I should take such and such player. So get your draft position early so you can start doing some mock drafts on your own. My third tip is to know your league mates. Now, if you're in a league with a whole bunch of Dolphins fans like I am, Tyreek Hill is probably not going to be on your list of players you can get. Neither is Jalen Waddle, because they're going to want to get him a little earlier than you should. So I personally don't even be looking for them. If they fall to me, cool. But I know how the Dolphins fans are going to be. They're going to pick them. Me, I try to be a realistic Cowboys fan. Yes, CeeDee Lamb is the first pick, but I'm not about to be taking George Pickens in the second round. It's just not going to happen. I'm taking guys where they should go. And when I know my league mates, I know, hey, this guy might fall because most of my league mates don't like this player. So knowing your league mates, catching a vibe of them early to try to figure out what they're thinking and where they're going to go with certain things definitely will give you a head up on the competition. All right, like I said, I'm going to make this quick for you guys. So just 2 more tips. Fourth tip is to make sure you have a good mix of ceiling players and floor players. Now, when I say a ceiling player, I mean players like Keon Coleman, Rome Odunze. Those are players that could go later in the draft that could easily end up wide receiver 1s at their position. They also could be floor busts as well, though. That's the only thing. So mixing in a guy like Khalil Shakir, who is going to get the targets, that's a floor player. So you have to have a good mix of those guys because you don't want to just get all ceiling players. They all bust, and now your team has you sitting in a Denny's for 24 hours. No. And you don't want to have too many floor players because then you're not going to score enough points if they're just staying at their floor. Have you a good mix of those type of players so that you can have the best season possible. All right, tip number 5, my last tip is to make sure you're handcuffing your most important players. When it comes to those first 2 or 3 weeks, you need to have the handcuff of either your top running back or your second best running back. Have to. If they get hurt and your guy's handcuff is just on the waiver wire and you don't get to pick him up because you won your matchup last week, you are going to be sick. Sick. You do not want that, I promise. So have a handcuff for at least one player to start the season. And as the season continues to progress, start to pick up the second handcuff. By the time it's the playoffs, you should have at least 3 handcuffs. Maybe 2 if you just have 2 elite running backs, but at least maybe 3. You want to have the go-to emergency breaking glass in case of emergency guy. So you never know what can happen. It's the NFL. Guys get hurt left and right. So make sure you have your handcuffs so you're not ending up like me without Kareem Hunt's handcuff when he decides to go crazy and do what he do. We're not even going to talk about that in the video.